Hi everyone, this is Michael Balesta. The Indians began the American League Division Series against the Houston Astros last Friday for Game 1 at Minute Maid Park. Third baseman Alex Bregman opened the scoring with a home run to left field off of Corey Kluber in the bottom of the fourth. 5 batters later, Josh Reddick singled to right field to make it 2-0. In the fifth inning, Houston added solo homers from George Springer and Jose Altuve. Cleveland was finally able to get going in the sixth against Justin Verlander as Yan Gomes scored from third on a wild pitch. Jose Ramirez, who ended up having a difficult series in the batter's box, did ground out, which was enough to plate home Francisco Lindor. Edwin Encarnacion could not keep the rally going, and it was 4-2 after 5.5 innings. The Astros eventually were able to put the game out of reach. Catcher Martin Maldonado homered with Cody Allen on the hill, then Bregman hit a single to get George Springer home at Trevor Bauer's expense. Dan Otero in the eighth gave up a base hit to Reddick. Houston went up 1-0 in the series with a 7-2 victory. Verlander had 7 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings, while Kluber allowed 6 hits and 4 runs in 4 2/3. In Game 2 Saturday, the Indians were better defensively, and Carlos Carrasco gave his team some hope in more than 5 innings of work. He was given a lead when Lindor hit a home run off of Jarrett Cole in the third. Unfortunately, on the first pitch delivered by Andrew Miller with 1 out in the bottom of the sixth, Marwin Gonzalez doubled to right field, which scored Altuve and Bregman, and the lead was gone. Bregman gave the Astros some insurance in the next frame against Bauer for a 3-1 lead. Yan Gomes did draw a walk in the eighth, but Ryan Presley retired Kipnis, then Roberto Osuna got Lindor to strike out to end the frame. Encarnacion was able to reach base on ball 4 with 2 down in the ninth, but Josh Donaldson flew out to end the game, and Cleveland was down 2-0, needing a change of scenery to turn the tide in this best-of-5 series. Game 3 started well before a partisan Indians crowd Monday afternoon. In the bottom of the third, Yan Gomes and Jason Kipnis each reached base. Then Lindor advanced the runners on a bunt before Michael Brantley hit a sacrifice fly to center field, and Cleveland took the lead versus Dallas Keuchel. Mike Clevinger had survived a turbulent top of the third inning and pitched well, getting 9 strikeouts. He would not factor into the final decision by game's end. George Springer did take him deep in the fifth inning to tie the game up at 1. Lindor answered with a home run for the second straight game, and at the time things were going well. The top of the seventh inning was where Houston ran and hid for good. After Tony Kemp singled, Bauer was charged with an error on a pickoff attempt, moving Kemp to scoring position. After Springer's hit put runners on first and third, Altuve grounded into a force out at second base, but a run scored to even the game at 2. A ground ball to Bauer resulted in an errant throw to second, allowing Altuve to be safe and Bregman to reach instead of an inning-ending double play. From there, the Indians would pay the price of giving the Astros extra chances. Yuli Gurriel walked to load the bases. Then Marwin Gonzalez hit a double for 2 runs, and Houston went up 4-2. Cleveland had a quiet bottom of the seventh. Then Springer added another homer. Gonzalez drove in the 6th run for the visiting team. A wild pitch by Brad Hand allowed Bregman to come to the plate. Carlos Correa removed any lingering doubt about this game with a 3-run drive to left field. Lindor and Brantley got hits in the 8th, but Ramirez grounded into an inning-ending double play. Bregman got a base hit in the top of the 9th to score Kemp. Encarnacion would close the scoring after a wild pitch for him to bring him in from third. Melky Cabrera grounded out to end the game and the season as Cleveland was swept in the series after an 11-3 defeat. At the beginning of the year, I had hoped that the Indians would win the Central and see what would happen in the playoffs. Though they met the goal of winning the division, there is still the empty feeling of failing again in the playoffs. Since losing 3 straight to miss the chance to lift the Commissioner's Trophy in the 2016 World Series, they had home field advantage for the American League in 2017 after having a period of 22 straight wins in the regular season. They then lost 3 straight games in the division series round after winning the first 2 games against the Yankees. This year had another painful ending, but it's easier in the sense that Houston had the experience of winning last year's World Series, and they looked formidable in the 3 games. They will be a tough out going forward. The frustration of this series, from the Indians' point of view, is that the batters, for the most part, could not get going. Even with good pitching, it was going to be hard to slow down the Houston bats, so the Indians needed to get runs, and they didn't. The Astros were winners of 103 games, and they were not the type of team to beat themselves. However, it's fair to wonder if this Cleveland unit will be able to finally bring the city a World Series title, which will now be at least a 71-year wait. On a much brighter note, the Browns beat the Ravens 12-9 in overtime, as they are unbeaten in 3 home games and 2-1 for the season. On the game's opening possession, Hugh Jackson won a challenge after Baltimore running back Alex Collins initially was ruled to have a first down. At the time, I was surprised that early in the game, Cleveland chose to challenge, and they forced the Ravens into a 3rd and 1 just inside Browns territory. So they won the challenge. Joe Flacco did get a quarterback sneak to move the sticks, but incomplete passes on 2 of the next 3 plays got the defense off the field. Unfortunately, Nick Boyle was able to down Sam Cook's punt inside the 10. The field position seemed to be tilted against the Browns throughout the day. Tavon Young intercepted a Baker Mayfield pass intended for Rashard Higgins. It appeared that Higgins thought he was supposed to go towards the outside on his route, while Mayfield thought he would cut in. The turnover, though costly, ended up costing Cleveland just 3 points from the leg of Justin Tucker. With just over 8.5 minutes left in the opening quarter, the offense came back for their second trip. After David Njoku got called for holding on the second play of the drive, Carlos Hyde got 5 yards back. Then on 3rd and 16, Mayfield was able to connect with Higgins for 21 yards. After 2 more carries by the former Ohio State running back of 12 and 3 yards, Darren Fells caught an 8-yard pass. 3 plays later, the drive stalled as Eric Wesley sacked the Oklahoma quarterback, and Cleveland was knocked out of field goal range and forced to punt. After an exchange of punts, the Ravens got the ball back in the early stages of the second quarter, and it was their turn to methodically move the ball. Willie Snead caught a 17-yard pass from Flacco. Then Collins ran for 16 to get the visiting side in the red zone. John Brown advanced the ball to the 8-yard line. A few plays later, Denzel Ward made a key play as he picked off Flacco at the 3-yard line to take away Baltimore's momentum. Chris Hubbard got a holding penalty to stall the next Cleveland offensive series, while Trevon Coley and Emmanuel Ogbah combined for a tackle for loss on Alex Collins when the Ravens got the ball back to put them behind schedule down and distance-wise. Hyde could not find room to run on the 5th possession for the home team, forcing Britton Colquitt into one of his 9 punts on the day. Coley combined with Myles Garrett for a sack of Flacco to help keep the game 3-0. Finally, the Browns offense was able to finish a drive inside the last 2 minutes of the half. Mayfield found Antonio Callaway on 2nd and 10 from the Cleveland 22 to make 3rd down more manageable. Duke Johnson took the direct snap and wisely went out of bounds to gain another 8 yards. Njoku would then catch back-to-back 19-yard pass plays to get inside the Ravens' 20. That set up a Mayfield to Higgins touchdown, which put the Browns ahead for the first time. Sadly, the kicking game became an adventure once again as Greg Joseph hit the upright and was no good. With 40 seconds left, Baltimore was still able to work their way into field goal range, but Denzel Ward stepped up again and made a play on special teams, blocking Tucker's 48-yard field goal attempt to end the first half. Cleveland began with the ball in the second half. Mayfield got sacked on the first play, but then Hyde was able to help overcome 2nd and 18 with back-to-back rushes of 17 and 8 yards, but the drive stalled. On the 5th play of Baltimore's next series, Javarius Allen caught a Flacco pass, but Joe Schobert came in and knocked the ball out as he and Jamie Collins were coming in on the tackle, and Trevon Coley recovered to give Cleveland the ball on the plus side of the field at the 42. Jarvis Landry caught a 15-yard pass to get the home team a first down in scoring territory. Higgins was able to make a reception down to the 6-yard line. Mayfield took a sack on 3rd down, but the turnover did produce points as Joseph was true from 35 yards away, and the Browns' lead went to 9-3. The Ravens put together a 13-play drive, and in the final minute of the third quarter made a 25-yard field goal by Tucker. The next 5 possessions ended in punts, and Baltimore took over with 4:29 left in the fourth quarter. Michael Crabtree had receptions of 6 and 19 to get the ball to the 41 of Cleveland. Javarius Allen and Willie Snead IV also caught passes on the drive, and Tucker leveled the score at 9 with less than a minute left. The Browns had a chance with the ball at the end of regulation in a close game like the previous 4 games. And Derek Willis received a 13-yard pass to get to the 38-yard line. Njoku went for 8 2 plays later. Landry had a big play by reaching the Ravens' 37, but did not go out of bounds. Because of that, the Browns had to keep their one remaining timeout at that point and spike the ball, as a lot of time went off the clock. After 2 incompletions, Joseph had a 55-yard field goal attempt that sailed wide left, and the game would go to overtime after the Ravens were unsuccessful on a trick play on the final play of regulation. Both teams punted on their first possessions of overtime. After Landry hauled in a 27-yard pass play, he was impeded during his route on a 4th and 5 inside the Baltimore 40, but no flag came on the field. After 3 incompletions by Flacco, Cleveland got the ball back, but were in trouble as they tried a trick play that backfired thanks to Matt Judon. Mayfield got 13 yards on a 2nd and 21. Then the quarterback found Willis for a catch and run of 39 yards coming out of the 2-minute warning. Johnson then went to the right for 15 more yards to get into range for Joseph. His try took a deflection, but the ball found its way through the uprights in the closing seconds of the extra session, giving Cleveland the satisfaction of victory. It was far from a perfect game, but for Cleveland to get their first victory against the Ravens since 2015 and their first home win against them since 2013 is another step up the ladder. They have acquitted themselves nicely in their first 2 games involving two divisional foes this season. The penalties will need to be cleaned up. Mayfield made plays with his arm. He did take multiple sacks, and he needs to throw the ball away when that happens. The draft pick of Ward was a great decision, as he has already had numerous plays to impact this team on defense and special teams. Higgins is a good go-to receiver for Baker. This team seems to be shedding some of the here we go again negative mentality because they look like they are having fun. The results are going their way, serving notice to the rest of the league that Cleveland will be tough to play against. Up next, the Los Angeles Chargers pay a visit to First Energy Stadium Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. The Chargers beat the Raiders last week 26-10 and are 3-2 on the year. Elsewhere, in the AFC North, the Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-17, while the Steelers beat the Falcons 41-17. The division standings show Cincinnati at 4-1, Baltimore 3-2, Cleveland 2-2-1, and Pittsburgh 2-2-1, as we are now about a third of the way through regular season play. The North Texas Browns backers will meet at Fox and Hound in Dallas this Sunday. Kickoff is at noon Central Time. Fox and Hound is located on Midway and the Bush Tollway, so be sure to bring your family and friends. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, please check out the Facebook group North Texas Browns Backers page and hit the like button for the latest updates there. If you live outside of the North Texas region, please search to find a Browns Backers club closest to you. The text of this blog is available at http://www.mjbolesta2, as in the number 2, blog.wordpress.com. I'm on Twitter at mjbolesta2 and on Facebook at Michael Bolesta. Archive videos on YouTube can be found by searching Michael Bolesta Roman numeral 2. God bless, have a great week, and be safe.